other oddities.
Yes.
and that Mercury spaceship sure is. There's this book that came out. We got a letter from Lucy A. Smith, and she said she had a co-worker named James Taylor, and he's like an expert on sideshow oddities and freak shows. He lives in Baltimore, and he has published, it's not a book, it's not a magazine, it's a combination of both, and it's going to come out twice a year, and it is called James Taylor, Shocked and Amazed, on and off the Midway, and joining us from Studio 8H,
hey.
James Taylor. Hey, James, how are you? Hello, how are you?
Hello.
What's up, man?
Well, we're here to talk about Sideshow this morning, I think.
All right, let's talk for just a second, because I know you've got some show and tell there that's going to be amazing. This is a hobby of yours, not a vocation, correct?
Yes. I work for a living full-time for the state of Maryland.
Okay, and how did you get started on this hobby?
Well, actually, I've always been fascinated with sideshow and freak show and other oddities on display. But about 3 years ago, I got fed up over the fact that I wasn't seeing the books out there that I wanted to see on the business. And at the urging of some friends of mine, I decided, since I ran a publishing house, Dolphin Moon Press here in Baltimore, since I ran a publishing house myself, I'd do my own book. And it started out as a one-shot, this book that was going to be out there all about the shows. And slowly but surely it changed shape and changed form, and I got tied in with my production manager, Kathleen Crawford, and Scott Huffhines, who runs Atomic Books down on Reed Street. And as a result of getting tied in with them and thinking about the project and talking about it, it's become the first of a semi-annual publication, and to my knowledge, it's the only journal in the world devoted entirely to the subject of sideshows.
Okay, and when you talk about sideshows in the magazine, you are not debunking them, or are you, or are you?
No, not at all. Actually, I'm a real fan. I'm a real supporter of the business. As far as I'm concerned, it's the business that refuses to die. They are still plying the midways, the shows are. They're not really, it's not the heyday that it was, say, back around World War II and right after, but the business people who are still out at the side showmen and the performers are still out there trying to make the nut, as they say, trying to make a living at it.
Hey, listen, show us some of the stuff that you have there.
Well, let me start with Fivey. Fivey, when he was alive, which of course he very much isn't right now, but Fivey, when he was alive, had his own show, and he was billed as a five-legged dog, which I'm not sure if you can kind of, you can see the fifth leg.
Yes.
I guess actually he's more of like a lobster dog, I suppose, but
It looks like his dew claws grew out.
Yeah, well actually it's the one digit. As though in the human hand, when a digit's missing, the hand splays out as well.
Okay, let's go on and move down the list rather briskly.
There you go. This is the head of the snake that killed Sailor Bill Katzey, a showman who ran snake shows in Florida and throughout the Southeast.
Wait a minute, that's
Holy
real?
Smoke.
Yeah.
No, wait, we're talking sideshow stuff here. Wait a minute. So for my, wait a minute. Here's where the mystery's involved. You go, nah, it can't be real.
Oh no, this is 100% legit.
That's not magnifying glass?
This snake squoze up real tight on Sailor Bill, and they found him about an hour after he had expired, and the snake was up in the tree looking down going, "Oh, I killed Daddy." And for the next couple years, Sailor Bill's wife had this snake in a show of its own as the snake that killed Sailor Bill Katzey, and actually made a lot of money and retired on the money that she made from the snake.
That's no trick with magnifying glass. The snake is that big.
No. Oh, no. It's this snake was over 20 feet long.
Hey, listen, seriously, let's go ahead and move on down here so we get a couple more questions in.
All right, pitch items. This, let's see if we can see this here. This is Johan Pettersson, the Icelandic giant, who at the time he was in the shows back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s was the tallest man in the world, 8.5 feet. That's his assistant, Louise Mason, next to him. These are some of the rings that he used to sell.
Don saw him in Ashtabula at a carnival show.
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah.
That's great.
I think he traveled with Gooding Amusements.
There you go. This is Jeannie and Al Tomaney. Jeannie was billed as the world's only living half-girl, and her husband Al was the American giant. Of course, they were billed as the world's strangest married couple.
All right.
Now, this is a really peculiar little creature right here. Virtually nothing is known about its breeding habits or its life in the wilds, and they're almost impossible to capture. The showman who sold me this told me this was the rope squirrel from the Isle of Macramé.
But you see, that's what makes this so great. Why, you'll pay $1.50 to go in and see the dog-faced woman or JoJo, the guy that drives spikes through his head.
Oh yeah, human blockheads.
Yeah.
And
last but not least,
this.
Ooh.
The common question is, what is this? And it's, well, that is what this is. This is a what is it. Showmen, when they were building museum shows, such as would have like a lot of stuffed items and bottled items, would have these things cobbled together, fiberglass, paper mache, chicken wire, animal bones, whatever, and they'd build them as having been found in ancient Egyptian caves.
So that's not real.
So that's the real.
It's all real.
Sure, it is real. Yeah, see, there you go, man.
Wrong
I'm looking up
question,
in the
but a great question.
So it's all real.
Yes, it's all real.
And here is
100%.
Here is the basis of the sideshow. Are there any good sideshows currently in Maryland, Southern Pennsylvania, Delaware, South Jersey, West Virginia, where we could go see them?
Let me see. Maryland State Fair will probably have a few. Not very many at the Maryland State Fair. Last year there was Myrna Graham, the world's smallest mother. There was the giant redwood log house, and there was the world's smallest horse. But probably still the best bet to see sideshow in any quantity is to go up to the York Fair. York Fair last year had, I think, 13 different shows.
Oh, yeah?
Including a wall of death, motordrome, motorcyclists racing around a vertical wall. Yeah. Great show.
So the York Fair up in the Southern Pennsylvania, I guess that'll be...
first part of September, right after Labor Day.
I would imagine the people are still around. Is it this wave of political correctness that has stopped the sideshow?
It's like a lot of things. There's millions of causes for why the things aren't what they were. The political correctness is probably part of it. Television has been blamed for some of it, but I don't really think so. I think the spirit of it's impossible to kill.
Okay.
Still young people out there trying to do this, still people learning how to swallow swords and eat fire. And I think it's a business that simply won't die.
Okay, listen, we got like 15 seconds left. Where can this book be found?
Oh, yes. Right now, Artscape, among other places.
Hey.
Really? You're going to be at Artscape?
There you go. Oh, yeah. We'll be at the literary tent right in front of the Lyric Theater. And we'll have this out there with bells on. And, of course, you can always buy it at Atomic Books, my partner's bookshop right down on Reed Street. Mm-hmm. And it's $9.95.
You going to have some of the oddities with you at Artscape?
Maybe not. Some of this stuff might not stand up to the heat.
I see.
Yeah, okay. You got to make your paper mache thicker.
I
Hey, listen,
know.
we got to run. James Taylor, thanks for coming in. Lucy Smith, your co-worker who wrote us the letter. Lucy happens to also be here. And we got Rise and Shine mugs for in the whole 9 yards.
Great.
Hey, listen, not a freak of nature, not even one of nature's own mistakes, but a living, breathing man. James Taylor, thanks for joining us. All right. I've always thought I'd be a great carnival parker. I'd do that well.
I think you would be.
I'd do that in demolition derbies. 83 cars, 5 wreckers, and 4 ambulances. Okay.
There's the address for coffee with. I always like Fire and Rain, too, James' song.
You did a great song,
Yeah, 6:39. Still to come.
In Baltimore again tonight, it's the O's and the Royals at Camden Yards. We'll have a preview. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Whoa.